Hello again. Every December, we see the appearance of what is fast becoming a Christmas tradition, as familiar as decorating the tree, buying the turkey, or going to a carol service. This is churchmen and politicians attempting to draw parallels between the story of the Nativity, as related in the Gospel of Matthew, and the small boats crossing the English Channel, or the columns of Hispanic immigrants gathering at the southern border of the United States. This year we may expect even more of this foolishness than usual because of the war in Gaza, which has created refugees. Essentially, the story goes like this, although there are many additional embellishments. The Bible tells us that Joseph, Mary, and baby Jesus went to Egypt because they feared persecution by Herod. Isn't that exactly like the modern day refugees seeking asylum in the West? All Christians should bear this in mind and welcome the flood of illegal immigrants from the Third World. Actually, reading the Bible, specifically Matthew chapter 2, verses 13 to 20, will soon show us the difference between the Holy Family's brief sojourn in Mitzrayim, or Egypt as it is now known, and the intentions of those gathered in Mexico and France who hope to enter Britain and the United States. We read in the Gospel of Matthew, and the only place incidentally where this is mentioned, that "And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt." There is mention of some events in Israel, and then we see in verses 19 to 21, "But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeareth in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel." I will mention, by the way, that this account is flatly contradicted by the nativity narrative in Luke, which says that after the birth and Mary's period of purification, which lasted 33 days at that time, the family went straight to Jerusalem and then afterward on to the Galilee. Anyway, what can we make of the story in Matthew, assuming that it is accurate? The first thing that strikes us is that visiting Egypt was only ever intended as a stopgap measure. There was never any intention for Mary and Joseph actually to move to Egypt permanently. It was a temporary expedient, which immediately distinguishes it from those today who are trying to enter Western countries, whose aim is to stay in those countries forever. A number of other differences readily suggest themselves between the Holy Family's flight into Egypt and what we are today witnessing on the southern coast of England and the southern border of the United States. For instance, there is no suggestion in the Bible that hundreds of thousands of people from Israel were also heading west and besieging the Egyptian border, hoping to move permanently to that country. Then, too, those we currently see crossing the English Channel in this way are not families with newborn babies, are they? They are, in the main, healthy and fit young men. There's no mention in Scripture of Mary, Joseph, and their baby being put up in a hotel at the expense of the Egyptians either, nor of Mary having a few more children so that she could claim multiple child benefits from the Egyptian government. Nor are we told by the author of the Gospel that as soon as they had their feet under the table in Cairo, Joseph and Mary sent for their relatives in Israel, hoping that they too could come and live in Egypt under a family reunion scheme. Nor do we read that Joseph started complaining about racism on the part of the Egyptian leadership and moaning that they weren't doing enough for him and his relatives. I need hardly add that there is nothing either about Joseph going on a stabbing spree or engaging in human trafficking. The whole idea that the flight into Egypt is in any way similar to the current wave of illegal immigration afflicting the West has been dreamt up by progressive left-wing church leaders and relies heavily upon the assumption that few people will take the trouble to read the passages in the Bible relating to this. By the by, in a comment on this video, which I released earlier this morning, some fools said that when viewers saw me quoting from dictionaries, it made them think that I was learned and wise. I must hope that the sight of a Bible in my hand did not have a similar effect. I cannot think there is anything in this, for I am neither learned nor wise. I am rather a plain man who simply says in a straightforward manner what he sees and the conclusions he draws from what he has seen. The idea that the sight of a dictionary would so dazzle people as to give them an inflated sense of my intellectual ability is a curious one, and I think I'll explore this notion in a future video.